Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Priyanka from Let's Talk College, and in this video we are going to talk about just how to go about filling out your college application. So I have the application pulled up, and of course on the side or just in the visual form I will pull up just the relevant screens, and that way you can basically see what parts of the application I'm actually talking about. So specifically we're going to talk about the Common App, not the Coalition app or the Universal app or QuestBridge or any of the other ones, because the Common App is pretty much the primary app that most people use. So with that said, if you have not yet done so, considering that it is October, you should really go ahead and create your Common App account. It's super easy, takes maybe about a minute, so just go ahead and do it. Now, once you have signed on to Common App, go ahead and click on the into the college search feature. So here's where you can actually just type in the university or universities that you're actually considering. And if you're just playing around with it because it's not either application season or you're just thinking of looking through it, then again, type in just one university to see what features pop up. So type in the name of the university and then you can just hit the little plus button to add on. That part I think was fairly self-explanatory, so we're actually going to move on to a couple different components I want you to keep an eye out for. Now, the universities that you've selected, they will pop up on your dashboard. So if you click on your dashboard again, you will see basically the name of the university and then just where you are in terms of your progress. So for example, and the one I have as my example, Boston College, it says in progress, and then there's a writing supplement which is also in progress. Now realistically I probably just clicked on it and it says in progress, so it's not always the best indicator of where you stand with the application. If you click on the show more details part, it'll show you all the other information, general information about that particular university, but really we don't get into as much detail until you click on the university name itself. So before we even dive into specific universities, I actually want to address the Common App feature. So if you click on Common App, this is the part of the application that's general. This is the part that will be sent to every university that you choose to apply to. With that said, you can make changes between universities, or between submissions rather. So just because you have it one way, or you put your, let's say, personal statement in, and you maybe in your personal statement you specifically mentioned a university that you're applying to, that's okay. Once you've hit send and you submit it to that one particular university, you can come back to your personal statement, change it again to send it to other universities. So bottom line, this part is flexible for every portion of your entire, for your entire list of submissions. Now, profile, that's just more about you. Family, that's about your family, the educational background of your parents, all of that other stuff. And then moving on, so we have education. And even if you don't feel like filling out any other portion, just click on the education section and choose your high school. Why does this matter? Because we'll see in the future when we go over to the recommendation section that you can't actually move forward until you've selected your high school. So just go right ahead and put in the name of your high school. Then we get to testing. Now with testing, you get to choose which tests you'd like to submit. So in this case, if you've taken SATs or ACTs and you'd like to submit those scores, then go ahead and put that information in. And when it comes to test score submission, particularly for the SATs, the section will ask you your highest math score and then the date that that score is from, and then your highest reading score and the date that that particular score is from. So they'll basically help you super score. If you have any SAT subject tests, go ahead and put those in. AP tests, put those in. Then moving forward, so we have something called the activity section. Now the activity section is probably one of the sections that most students mess up on, because it seems like a quick and easy, click, check, put in the basic information and you're done. That's not true. Now, unlike your SAT score, unlike your GPA, where your school will send in transcripts or your college board or ACT will send the official scores in, this is your one opportunity to actually share what you did. And to give you an example when it comes to an activity, I've had a student who said that he was part of the science club, and in that same list of activities, he put that he was part of a local defense contracting, a helicopter company, but their STEM club. And I was like, okay, what's the difference here? What's the difference between being part of the science club and being part of this STEM club over here? And he put this really generic description of how he learned leadership skills and time management and all of that. But I actually stopped him and said, okay, but what in particular did you do for this defense contractor helicopter company? And he said, well, we were working on armrests that could actually control the entire helicopter. Mention that. Okay? Mention that. No one is going to know how cool your extracurricular activity is if you don't say it on your application. This is the only time you get to explain it. And if you look actually into your activities section, so if we scroll down, first of all, a few notes. One, you can have all the clubs and organizations that you're a part of in school. Your sports are also in there. Notice there's a section for family responsibilities. And family responsibilities, if you click on it, they'll define a few things for you. Just a heads up, don't put your chores in here. Don't put that you walked the dog, did the dishes, loaded the dishwasher, whatever else. Don't do that. This is particularly for students who are legitimately, they cannot help out, or sorry, they cannot go out and have an extracurricular because they're so busy helping out in the family, caring for an elder relative or watching their siblings because their parents have to work, whatever it might be. So just something to watch out for. And then hobbies are also part of your activities. So I have another student who's learning Photoshop and another one who's learning copywriting. Well, those are cool skills. Put them in. They don't have to be part of some wonderful organization, school organization, private organization, none of that. If you're genuinely interested in something and are exploring that field, write it in. Now, when we click on the actual activity, so first you have up to 10 that you can submit. It says it clearly, although it's in tiny font, so students get it mixed up, but it says, please list your activities in the order of their importance to you. Take that part seriously. Then as we scroll down activity type, you get to pick what that is, music, what sports, etc., leadership, position, description, organization name, etc. Okay, now the next part is important, where it says, please describe this activity, including what you've accomplished and any recognition you received. Write down what you've learned, and not just, I learned teamwork, or I learned how to manage people, or something like that. Think it through. You have 150 characters, which is about 50 words. So it's not a lot. So use these words wisely. And then, of course, you have participation grade levels, timing of participation, hours spent per week. So put the activities that take the most time commitment up top, and then just go down the list from there. Now, when it comes to sports, when it comes to activities, yes, the admissions committee knows that not every activity is going to, or sport is in season all year, or you're not going to be dedicating, let's say, 15 hours per week every time, maybe only during the season, but then on off season, you're just going in for practice or training or drilling or whatever it might be. That's okay. They understand that. So it just provides a rough estimate, basically. And then you have the option of adding in other activities. I recommend using all of the activities if possible, but don't feel like you have to. So if you're going to BS your way through it, then preferably don't. With that said, if you've made it this far, chances are you have enough activities to put in here. Another side note, and we will actually be jumping to this later, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this now. So another side note, right underneath that activity section is the writing section. Now, writing section, you have your personal essay, and that's actually where you're going to select the prompt that you have chosen for your college essay, and then copy and paste it. Now, notice there's an upper word count limit of 650. This little feature, this box, is not going to let you add even a letter after that 650 count. So make sure you've actually checked your word count on your Word document or Google Doc or wherever you're doing your essay before you try and put it into this. Disciplinary history. Now, additional information. So this is also a key component of your entire application. Now, this year, because of COVID and all the natural disasters, including the fires in California, the hurricanes that seem to keep hitting us, the devastating hurricanes, not just hurricanes. But due to that, Common App has added in a sort of a community disruptions and natural disasters section in which you can actually expand upon what you or your family may have experienced, and you have 250 words to do that. Further down, you actually have a section that says, do you wish to provide details of circumstances or qualifications not reflected in the application? And you have an additional 650 words. That's a whole college essay right there. So if you want to, you can, well, put in a whole separate college essay or expand on your activities. Like I said before, first of all, those 50 words are not enough of a description for any activity you commit yourself to. And then second, take advantage of all the space that they give you. You have limited words that you can basically use in your application. So anytime they actually give you bonus words, take advantage of that feature. And you can even write up your activities in paragraph form. Just what is it that you or your teammates, everyone did? What did you guys learn? And where, if this is something you're genuinely interested in, maybe where do you hope to take it? Because sometimes I have another student who's in a cappella group, and he's a shy person. So to be in an a cappella group for him is different than for someone like me. I can just talk and talk and talk, and I can embarrass myself on stage and be okay. So for me to join an a cappella group is different than for him to join a cappella group. So tell that story. Basically, what does this activity mean to you? But bottom line, don't let that additional information section just go blank. So moving on from that, there is one thing I want to backtrack to, which I believe is in the education tab. So under the education tab, you have one section which is for your honors. Now, just going in order, you have grades, and grades are just the grades that you are that's just your school information. This is something you can get from your guidance counselor. So your GPA, your unweighted, weighted, and then basically your graduating class size, something you need from your guidance counselor. And if there are any class rankings, then again, that would also be something you get from your guidance counselor. Now, with that said, honors. So with honors and honor roll counts, National Honor Society counts, if you have anything that is a school level competition, like a writing portfolio at the local high school, that all counts. Second, if you've already listed, let's say, an activity here and not in the honor section, meaning that let's say you put NHS, so National Honor Society, in the honor section, don't put it in the activity section. Save that activity spot for another, basically put something else in, something else they don't know about you. But that's just a quick note there. And with that said, now we move on to the My Colleges tab. So under My Colleges, you'll see that every university you've listed is now, or you've chosen, is now listed in sequence or in alphabetical order. When you click on, and it doesn't matter which university you click on, just go ahead and click on one university and you'll see a label that says Recommenders and FERPA. Go ahead and sign that release. Basically, this tab, that release will not pop up until you've picked your high school. That's why I asked you to pick your high school a couple tabs ago. But basically that little notification authorization will not pop up until you've chosen your high school. So right now, go ahead and actually sign your waiver. And what this waiver basically says, it just says you waive the right to look at your recommendation. And I think we all expected that. We were not expecting to look at our recommendations, unless, you were. But for the most part, I think we all expected that we would not be looking at recommendations, and this is just the official legalese that goes with it. Now, once you've done that, you have that page should refresh, and it will tell you what the university requires. So it will say counselor recommendation, how many teacher recommendations, if they're required, or how many optional, other recommenders, including your coaches, employers, college counselors, whoever else it might be. So, and this may be optional or required, or advisors. Basically, this is, I guess, special to every university. Some universities prefer a lot more recommendations. Some universities just put them under optional. With that said, submit no more than 3 recommendations per university, maximum. That is your cutoff. So outside of that required counselor recommendation that is everyone has to send pretty much anyway, choose no more than 3. Which 3 combo you do, up to you. But choose or ask individuals who can provide a wholesome picture of you basically in school. Then you have someone maybe for your sports or your volunteering, your job, whatever else it might be, but preferably like a nice wholesome picture of you. So no more than 3 recommendations, because after that universities think that you're actually trying to hide something. So be careful. That's not the impression you're trying to form. All right. And I believe that covers just about every component I wanted to. Oh, writing supplement. So that will be the final component. So with the writing supplement, you'll see the questions that are listed. Now, this is also actually a little bit annoying because every university, even on Common App, will have a writing supplement under a different label. So some might have it under the questions tab, and then they'll have a sub tab in there with like a writing or optional or whatever. And then some of them will just call it a writing supplement. So just be careful. If you don't see that writing supplement label, that does not mean that this university doesn't have a supplement. Just make sure you click through all the questions, all of this little portion basically, to ensure that you for sure know that it doesn't have a writing supplement. So with that said, writing supplement questions and the responses are all listed on there, just like how we saw with the personal statement, where you get to pick which question it is that you chose to write about if that university offers multiple options. And if the university doesn't offer multiple options, then you just have that blank spot and the word count that goes with it. Reminder that writing supplements can be anywhere from 100, 150 words to 450, I've seen ones that are 500 words. So it varies by university, and just make sure, don't BS it. Make sure you put genuine effort in. And when I say genuine effort, your writing supplement, if it's a question like why us, then do the research for that particular university, because you're trying to market it. You're trying to market yourself to that university and also create a blueprint for what your life at that university could be like. So if there's a particular professor who could potentially serve as a mentor, or a particular research program, or a study abroad opportunity, or maybe something the Career Center does, this is the time to mention it, that no other university but yours will do because you have such and such and such and such available, and that would suit me. That's sort of the vibe that you're going for. So with that said, we're done with the application portion, but just a couple of side notes. If you're applying ED, so that's early decision, this is the binding portion, application. So if you apply ED, you're basically saying, I will attend no matter what. Well, in that case, once you've hit submit, your parents will also receive an email, and they will have to provide an electronic signature stating that, if accepted, this is the university that we will be attending. So just be careful and make sure that you receive your electronic signature, your parents receive that email and everything. With that said, basically it is your job to follow up when it comes to recommendations. It is your job to ensure that your scores are sent in. It is your job to make sure that your grades and everything are taken care of. Don't blame the guidance counselor. Don't blame the teachers. The entire application is your responsibility. So make sure you get it in on time. So with that said, I hope this video was very helpful and you have a better idea of how to actually go in and address your application. And if you have any further questions, I am going to have a few more videos on the application, personal statements, and supplementals and all of that. So please just check out the other videos. And if you like what you've seen so far, go ahead and click subscribe. And I will also list a few resources I'll provide the Common App link down below in the description section. And with that said, I will see you next time. Bye.